Hi, everybody. It's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 116. We're going to talk about how to get the head voice back after puberty. Bah! It's a loss, right? One day you're singing way up here. The next day you're cracking all over the place. And then a few weeks later, you can't find it. It's like you never had that little head voice up there in the top. So anyway, I wanted to say hi to. Looks like I got a crowd here waiting for me today. Hey Jack Moffat Music, you're the one that inspired this topic today. So thanks for the comment in the on the YouTube video, and Jack asked about the vibrato that he lost. So I'm going to try and cover that today for us, Jack, just a little bit. Okay. So this is the pre-show show because we're starting just a few minutes early, and I just want to say hi to you guys who are here. You're waiting. So Jack Mockett Music, nice to have you with us today, Jack. Emmanuel, hi Emmanuel, nice to have you here today. LaQuack, haven't seen you for a while. Great to have you here. And so yeah, these things are all like really. These are really major events in the life of a guy who's singing. But let me just say this, ladies, even though we're talking about this puberty change, vocal change that the guys go through puberty, you go through a change also. It's not as severe, it's not as drastic. And so most of the time it doesn't show up as much in your voice, but the same principles that we're going to talk about today apply to women's voices. So let me just ask you right now, you guys, does anybody have any trouble with high notes once in a while? Let me know, yes or no, in the comment section below. You have troubles with some high notes, because we're going to talk about the same thing that applies to all of us, guys or girls. But for the guys, it seems so much bigger. And I'll go into that in a little more detail. Hi everybody, it's Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 116. It's the top of the hour. We're starting our show now, and I want to welcome you. This is a topic that plagues men, but ladies, just let me tell you right off the bat, everything that we're going to talk about today applies to you too. If you can answer this question, do you ever have challenges singing high notes? And if you do, this is going to apply. And let me know, yes or no. I have trouble singing high notes, or no, I don't have. I'm golden on high notes. So we're going to talk about things today that are going to apply to us guys whose voices change, and to any of us, guys or girls, who still have troubles getting those high notes. I want to thank Jack Mockett Music. Jack asked me today on a YouTube comment. He wanted to know, how do you get your vibrato back after your voice changes? And I asked him what had happened, and he said when his voice changed, he lost vibrato. He's got part of it back, but I'm curious: has that happened to anybody else? Do you remember? I don't remember ever having vibrato, so I don't think I lost it when my voice changed, but for those of you who may remember, do you recall having vibrato before your voice changed and then losing it after you went through the change? I'm curious about that. I think it's really interesting. Never thought about that. I've never had anybody ask about it. Maybe it's because for me, I just don't remember because I did sing. I sang in junior high. I always sang and we had a little choir in our grade school. So I did sing, and I sang a lot at home. But I don't remember if I had vibrato. I never recall having vibrato, so I've never believed that I did. I certainly didn't have it afterwards. All right, so we're going to be covering lots of really interesting information. Let me just say hi to more of you who are here. Ivan, nice to have you here today, Ivan. And Amir from Iran. Hey, awesome to have you here. So while we're getting started here, let me just see if I could answer some quick questions that are already being discussed here, and see if we can't, come to some help. Okay, so Jack Mockett asks, he wants to ask a quick question: how do I get my vibrato back after my voice changes? And Jack, I think it's exactly the same way you get it back if you never had it. Okay, so let me we could probably do. So there's nothing wrong, Jack, with your voice. There's nothing wrong with anyone's voice if when they went through puberty, it stopped. Probably because so I'll talk more about this later, but the vibrato, what you're trying to do is just assume, let's just pretend like you never had vibrato and then do exercises that will induce the vibrato. So I want you to just stay tuned to this week. Well, in fact, if you could just look back on the last 3 or 4 videos, there are videos on my YouTube channel that talk about getting vibrato and or controlling vibrato or stopping vibrato if it's not working correctly and restarting it. But just so you know, I am getting ready to release a course on getting vibrato, and the course is entitled Conquer Vibrato. And this next week, beginning this Thursday or Friday, and then all next week, I'll be releasing videos about vibrato, and then we're actually gonna I'll open the cart, so to speak, to be able to purchase a course on getting vibrato. It's going to be awesome. Because why? Because I asked a question to my subscribers and said, what 2 questions must absolutely be addressed in a course on vibrato for this to be effective and powerful in your life? And I got 73 responses back from my subscribers. Then I got another about 20 comments back from my membership site, Singers Impact, members of the Singers Impact group. So I got about 90 responses, 93 responses on what I need to do to make sure this is. So this course is kind of built on feedback from you, and so it's going to be pretty exciting. I'm very pleased to be able to share it with you, and that's going to be coming in this next week. Well, probably we'll open the card on about the first week of February, hoping for February 1st, Friday. Emmanuel says this is a nice topic. I changed my voice. Yeah, his voice changed after puberty. So, you guys, let me just say, LaQuack says, I've been doing exercises, pull chest. Oh, but I'm still not able to sing higher than an E4, F4. That's because the larynx is still coming up, LaQuack. The larynx is still rising. And so maybe we should get to segment number 1 today. Let's just talk about what happens when we go through a vocal change. And ladies, do we have any ladies joining us yet here today? I don't see any ladies. I guess this topic scared them off. I'm sure that somebody's out there watching. Ladies and gentlemen, when we're small, when we're young, before puberty for either of us, the diameter of the vocal cords, from my understanding, is about the diameter of a dime. It's kind of a small little thing. When you go through puberty, the ladies' vocal cords get longer to about so that to about the diameter of a nickel. Guys, the change is much larger. It's about the diameter of the quarter. So our voices get longer. I mean, the vocal cords get longer and they get thicker and heavier than the women. Now, I don't know if that's the reason why the Adam's apple gets bigger or not, but probably there's some relationship just in structure of the larynx and the vocal cords and what's going on in our bodies. And so we get a pretty serious change going on in our voices, literally. One day we're talking like this, and the next day we wake up and they go, everything we say starts to crack. For a lot of us. Now, there's a lot of guys too whose voices don't crack, but mine sure did. And then within a few weeks, it's gone. There's no more voice up here. Us guys, we don't live up there anymore. It's gone forever. But the problem is, so was my range. So when that happened, before that, I could sing way up into head voice, right? After that, if I sing, that's where it stopped. I couldn't go past that E above middle C. That was the end. I thought that was the top of my voice. So really, I thought, okay, so now my voice is E to E down there. So, so I had this, it was like death. And then I had down here, which was life. It was so comfortable down there. So I didn't know that wasn't the top of my voice. I thought it was, but it was not the top. It was the beginning of my bridge. So in answer to, it was an Emmanuel that asked, or Laquac, in answer to Laquac, where you can do the exercises, but if the larynx is coming up, then it's going to choke off. It's going to stop you. You're not going to be able to get past the E4. F4 for me would crack or break, or I had just to yell and was just horrible and flat, So the rising larynx is what causes all of us guys real severe problems right after the vocal change. Why? Because the larynx goes, the only way we can hit those old notes that we used to hit is by the larynx coming up to try and stretch the chords a little bit. To reach, so we could hit the note. Well, that's how I did it. I just kind of tried to, stretch my vocal cords longer or something, so that I could hit the note. Now, why this relates to you ladies is because many of you do the same thing. You're raising the larynx up so you can hit the high note. But for all of us, what happens is, it cracks. Or we have to just yell it, and we lose the word, the vowel spreads and splats, and can't understand. The words change that we're trying to. You can't understand what we're saying because everything. We're massacring the vowel, or we just go straight into falsetto. But that doesn't work for the guys. Ladies, you get away with that a lot of times, but you still have to connect back in the chest. You have to clunk back in. So we want that head voice. So we can just blend right back into chest. So anyway, the reason why we have this big problem at puberty is now the chords are thick and heavy and long. And so the only way we can figure out is to raise the larynx, or yell, or push it up. And so the way we're mimicking what we do when we swallow. Look what happens when I swallow. The larynx just goes way up and comes back down. But if you hum and try and swallow, hum while you're swallowing. You can't hum while you swallow. So imagine what's happening if you're singing and the larynx goes up. It just cuts it off. So, Laquac, I'm sorry, but without even hearing you, I'm willing to wager lots of experience tells me that the larynx is still rising. And that's why you're not able to get past E4, F4. What might be the problem? In the exercise, I'm able to connect my voice and go very high and low again without cracking and straining, but it doesn't work when I try and put it into singing. Okay, so it sounds like the larynx is staying obediently down when you're doing the exercises, but when you sing, the vowels are causing, the vowel, like an open vowel or a wide vowel, causes the larynx to come up. The larynx comes up on that open vowel on an E or an F or anything around that area, and what do you get? You get a crack, or you get a break, or you have to yell it or something like that. So that's still the larynx coming up. There is a whole segment on my website. If you go to the website, powertosing.com, go to the far right menu. There's an hourglass a search icon, and type in there vowel hacks, and there's a download that you can get to show you how to narrow the vowel so that the larynx doesn't come up, so you can stay in the mix and not have it suddenly shift into the chest voice and have a crack or a break. Okay, so. All right, you guys. Any comments here about your life after puberty? Let me see. Ivan says, "Hi. How to develop powerful mix so it doesn't sound like head voice? Also, my head voice is very weak. Thanks in advance." So, Ivan, it takes sometimes years to do that. But one of the best exercises that you can ever do is a closed to an open vowel. No, 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 no. Now if I say no, 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 I'm just going in the chest, and that would be counterproductive. You can't do it that way. So I want to keep the no exactly where the nu put it. No, 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 no. That no is my mix. No, 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 no. That's chest. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's the way you build that. That's the way you build power. Once you get those two down, go to the third one. No, 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 no. And you got to leave that in the same place as the nu and the no. If it said no, 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 it's falling down into the mouth. The vibration moves down into the mouth, and it just changes the condition of the vocal cords. The larynx comes up, and you get a splat and a crack. You got to keep it in the same place as the nu. And you do that up and down the bridge. E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, and you keep working that over and over and over again until you're able to start leaning a little bit harder on it. At first it's hard to kind of lean into it, but eventually, so at first it's kind of like, but after some time, for me, it was years. So take your low breath, pull your tummy in while you're doing it. That's the F sharp. And so forth. That's how you do it. Okay, so Joe West. Hey, Joe. Nice to have you here. Nice to have the female voice represented. Even though you're contralto, that's okay, because I'd be curious, Joe, if you've experienced anything when you were when your voice changed, and did it change to the current register? In other words, your voice maybe changed more than some of the other girls because you got quite a deeper voice, and I'm guessing that was at puberty. Maybe it was a little bit deeper even as a younger child. Curious about that. Amir says from Iran, my voice got tired very soon after I sing 2 to 3 songs, and it changed in color. Can you tell me what I should do? I'm not good at English. That's okay. So Amir, this is the same problem that the quack is having, and that is the larynx is rising. The larynx is going up. I'm guessing. Either that or it's very, very breathy, but it's still the rising larynx. Because even if we get breathy, with that air going past the kind of a lax or more open chord, just that air passing through just starts to pull everything up. And so pretty soon, we're the same experience. It just closes it off. And it gets harder and harder to sing. And it does change color. Listen. So if I said, all I'm doing is changing the larynx. And as it goes up, I'm squeezing it even more because that's what happens when I pull it up. So the color change is because the larynx is going up, and so the exercises that you need to do will be exercises that I'll cover some of those in a minute here. O'Dane, nice to have you here from Jamaica. O'Dane, it was 22 degrees when I got up this morning. What was the temperature when you got up this morning? You have a place I can come stay while I'd like to get away from this. The Taxi Factory. Hey, nice to have you here today. Humming softly has helped me with relaxing my throat. I think that's a good point. Yeah, a nice, easy hum is kind of like a vocal massage. Actually, reducing the loudness on everything will help. Burku Kosar Vocal Studio. Oh, well, great nice to have you here, Burku. Thank you from Turkey. Awesome. I have a question: when a man should start voice training? Great question, Burku. You know, I have plenty of students who I've taught before their voice changes, and that's great. There's not a problem teaching a young man who still hasn't gone through this vocal change. So I don't think that it matters necessarily how old they are. In fact, I like to be teaching a student when his voice is changing. When he starts going through the vocal change, I've got several of my students are like 14, 15, 16 years old who like musical theater, and they're in theater, and they're all doing. We're working on, and I've got a 17-year-old too. We're all working on getting them through this bridge now as a result of the going through puberty. And so we're working on exercises to get them through. I'll cover that in just a second. So let me gather a couple of these other things. George, just made it. Hey, George, nice to have you here today. Ink King. Hey, Chuck, I have a problem. When I do the low larynx exercise, I flip at the break, no matter how far my low larynx. So when you flip at the break, it's because the larynx is coming up. You don't think it is, but it is. And so you've got to maintain the hooty sound. This is the hard part. If I said E, I just cracked. So this is because the larynx started coming up. So go even hootier, dopier when you're going through that middle. Like about the D. E is where the big problem happens, because it's the beginning of the bridge. So you got to go really, you have to really impose it. Go really hooty. Lean into that hootie feeling. And repose it on the way down. Yeah, Ink says, when I do the nay exercise, my voice always crackles and eventually breaks into falsetto. Yeah, so I wouldn't do that one then, Ink, if you can't get it to work. For some students, it does do that because it's a high larynx exercise. Eventually, you have to try it and get it. So I can say nay, nay. I don't do it as loud. That's one thing that will help. Nay, 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 nay. If that cracks, nay, 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 nay. Go even softer. The crackly sound will eventually go away. I mean, that's the rising larynx. Joe says, I never noticed a change, although I'm sure it did. But I sang a second alto in my school choir, and it stayed about the same. So you probably maybe had just a deeper voice as a young lady, and so it wasn't, really noticeable then. But I think that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Amir, thank you. You are welcome for sure. Anand, hi, Anand Singh. Greetings from India. Came across your channel yesterday. I was searching exercise for vibrato. Your videos are really, really helpful. Thank you, Anand. I think that I've got more feedback on how well the vibrato exercises work probably almost than anything I've ever shared on YouTube. So thank you. O'Dane says we mostly have temperature 28 degrees to about 36 degrees Celsius. I wish I could translate that automatically. I never know exactly how much that is. Somebody help me out there that knows this. The can calculate 28 to 36 degrees Celsius compared to my 22 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Ivan, AE, hi. Hey, nice to have you here with us. How do I make the hootie sound? I do. I go really dopey. Duh. And then you can say goo. Or do it with oo lips. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. So I have to keep the larynx imposed, and one way to do it really easily is to keep oo on your lips and do goo. Goo, 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 goo. Okay, so let's talk about so we talked about the rising larynx, and that's what causes this problem for us guys and ladies too when we're trying to hit the high notes. For the guys, it seems like just an impossible task with these big vocal cords. I think we fight it for years and years and years. Well, for me, I was in my 40s before I found out I could do it. So I'm trying to get the message out, guys. We can do it. But it's hard to break muscle memory habits. We've been talking about that the whole time here. We think we're doing it, and the larynx is going up. At least we get physical feedback right away. The voice cracks. Okay. So, yeah, that swallowing mode with the rising larynx, with the larynx going up, that gets us all in trouble, guy or girl. And so we want to keep the larynx where we speak, which is pretty much level. That's the level area. I mean, level in terms of speech level. And so we want to sing at that level too. And so with the larynx down where we speak, then it's easier to get through the bridge so we don't crack and break. So I got some exercises here that I'm going to share with you. Let me address Burku from Turkey because she's a long ways away. I don't know what time it is over there, Burku. Thanks for your answer, but a man's throat structure continues until the age of 23 because some people are breaking their voice. But a man's throat structure continues until the age of 23 because of some people are breaking their voice. Don't quite understand that, Burku, but Kadu Zone, hi, nice to have you here, Kadu. I've trained for about 6 months and lowered my lower range from G2 to D sharp 2. Awesome. And raised my higher range from F4 to C plus 5, C5 plus. Awesome. Way to go. Can also do D5, but only use it to get the narrowed sound, the nasal resonance in mind to get the feeling. How would you characterize me in range terms? If you're down the D sharp, if you're down here, and well, I would need to hear what you're doing down here. That's pretty low for me this afternoon. I'm not getting it. Sometimes in the morning I can do it, but my larynx is. I'm sick. I've been sick for this last week. You can probably hear I've got congestion, but so my chords aren't totally normal. So, can I do my voice? When I'm healthy, I have quite a bit of heft in the voice, and I tend to bridge lower than the baritones and the tenors. So I feel the bridge at about A, below middle C, B flat, B, C. That's where my voice begins to transition to go into my head voice. That's where I begin my transition. If you do that, I'd say you're a bass, a true bass, like a basso cantata, because you've got some very high notes. I mean, I can sing up there. That's the high E, but I can vocalize up there, but I don't sing up there. I don't sing songs up there. But even though I can do that, I've got a lot of heft in the bottom of my voice that tenors and basses, or tenors and baritones don't necessarily have with a lower range. So I would be considered a basso cantata. And if you've got that D sharp too, you may be in the same situation. I'd have to probably hear it for sure, but Inking says, so Chuck, is the hootie sound in a very light, full voice? Yeah, you could. I think you could probably call it that. Chandler Bing, how to apply the nay exercises to the song? Good. Let's use that. I don't know. Ink says most singers only sing up to the A4 in pop music. A4 or the A4. I don't know. I don't know why. Okay, so let me address here some of the exercises, you guys, that will help all of us, ladies included, to get through this area that we're locked out of when our voice changes. And I get a lot of teen boys who comment and are looking for help. Roku, maybe this will be of help to you when you're dealing with the young men. First of all, just know that sometimes you only can take what nature gives you. In other words, some of my teen boys don't struggle as much as some of the others. Now, I find that the boys who have tenor voices, it's not quite as hard for them than the guys who have the real deep voice. So for those young men, it seems like the E, F sharp are just, it's just like impossible. So the real deep voice, I actually will start working and bridging on the A below middle C. A, B flat, B, C. This is where the basso profundo and the basso cantata, they bridge down here. And so here's the A. And so I would work the voice down here with these exercises, with baritones and tenors, and all, of course, the ladies, which are up on the octave above the basso cantata, which is the A4, B flat, B, C5, C sharp 5, those notes right there for the ladies. Here are exercises that we can use. Now, first of all, what we want to do with the guys is, and this helps build confidence really quickly, is do this with the little nay, nay, nay sound. So if we're starting, let's just do the tenors and baritones. We said nay 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 nay. Top notes F nay 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 nay. F sharp nay 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 nay. So we wanted to do it softly. We want it to be a little bit exaggerated, kind of funny, so it's a little bit of a witchy sound. Nay 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 nay. That helps join back up the bottom voice, now the men's chest voice, to their head voice. If we can get them just to connect a couple times, you start to, it's like a miracle. Now, it's hard to do it when you're a teen, because that larynx just wants to come up, and and it cracks, even though you're staying really, really quiet. Probably the best one I'd ever seen, where a young man who just couldn't do it, and I got him to do it so quietly. Nay, nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. So it's going to be a little rocky. It'll be a little bit scratchy. I'm sick today, so I'm not giving the best demo, but this kid did it, and he was like, whoa! He went right through the bridge, but it was soft. Nay, 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 nay. Do you have any idea why soft works a lot? Just think about how much less musculature you're engaging if you do it softly. Nay, 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 nay. There's just a lot less weight. We're engaging less air, and so the chords aren't holding back, and not holding back as they're not tensing up as hard because it's not holding back a lot of air blast. And so it's a great way to get started to re-establish the connection from chest to head, as with the young teen. Now that's one way to do it. The second way to do it is the opposite way. The nay, 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 the larynx is up a little bit. Nay, nay, nay. If we go a little bit dopey, this is the opposite way. Now we're going to pull the larynx down, and it's going to enable us to go at it a different way, but also to be successful. So if I said gee, 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 I do it on a kind of a dopey gee. So if I say, put your hand on your Adam's apple and say, duh, duh. Not just duh, not duh, but duh, duh. You can feel the larynx drop. So that dopey sound activates muscles here and pulls it down. Duh. So we don't sing on duh, we sing on gee. So just do a dopey gee, and that'll pull the larynx down. If we want to keep that dopey sound, if we do, it goes hooty. Gee, 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 gee. Now if I lose the dopey sound, it goes gee, gee, gee. As soon as I lose the dopey sound, you can hear it. And oftentimes, it'll just gee and crack. So we want to keep that dopey sound, or you just have to pinch it really hard, and that's doesn't help as much. Gee, 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 gee. Or you can do it on goo, 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 gee, 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 gee. Now I'm showing you on the 5-tone scale. You can do it on nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Or you can do it on gee, 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 gee. So these exercises then start to hook up the chest to the head. Now if I'd said and cracked, I'd just be going into falsetto, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect it up to head voice, which is a connected tone. Now, here's why guys don't like this. That feels like falsetto to us. It feels wrong. That feels like falsetto, but it's connected. It's a connected tone. If it were in falsetto, it would be it cracks back in the chest. So we don't want it to be in falsetto. The idea behind this whole thing is to connect the chest to the head with a connected tone, so that we don't have to reconnect back to chest, and so it doesn't disconnect into falsetto. Okay, I'm going to show you one other thing here, you guys. This is another little exercise that sometimes it's helpful with these teen boys, and that is an ing sound. Ing, sing, or ring, or ming. And so you can do the same thing with ming, 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 ming. Sometimes that ming, ming, ming on the 5-tone scale, or ming, 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 connects it up. And when they start feeling that, then ming, 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 ming. Of course, you can always, but I found this, the bubble lips and the tongue trill sometimes still don't work with the boys, because it's just their age. So even sometimes they'll crack even on the, oftentimes they'll crack even on the bubbles. So even thus keeping the larynx down more is still not enough. So you got to really either use that nay, 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 or the dopey sound to, get through there initially. So that's what you do. You reestablish that connection with those exercises, and then start building on that. You start getting your confidence back. You realize, oh, it's possible. I didn't even know it was possible until I was 43, 44. All right, so Chandler Bing, he asked how to apply the neck exercises to a song. So Chandler, if I were singing, Hey Jude, don't make it bad, bad. Take a sad song and crack. So what I want to do is say, nay, 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 nay. Just do it just take the nay and put it right where the words are. And if it breaks, go down and go do it softer. You can do it witchier if you need to. Nay, 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 nay. And then once you get it to hold, go to no, 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 no. What you're trying to do is get to normal as soon as you can. No, 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 no. Hey Jude, sing a sad song and make it better. Now you're going to find that it's still going to be challenging with the vowels. So do what I recommended earlier, is do a search on my website for vowel hacks. You can download a sheet of suggested modifications of vowels. For example, if I said Remember to let her in. I said let, I'd pull up my chest voice and it would crack. Let her in. So I have to narrow that vowel from to I, and that kind of information's on that PDF that you can download. But you have to go to my website to do it. Vowel hacks, Hack, hacks, like life hack, vowel hacks. Remember to let her into your... I put a little bit of I in that Let her into your heart. And it makes it so much easier to do that. Evan AE, I'm 15 and I can't go below a A2. Would my voice get deeper as I get older? You know, is it Ivan? Ivan? I don't know. I think that what you get about now, maybe 16, is going to be pretty close to where you're going to end up, and which indicates that you may be more towards a tenor. But don't take my word for it. You may be still going to. Trust me, your voice is still changing. I don't know if it's going to get deeper, but it's still changing. I wish I could be definitive and say yes, and when you hit 15, that's where it's going to be the whole time. Don't know. But I know in high school, I could do a low E periodically. It's better now because my larynx has dropped and I'm aging, and I think that helps. Kadu, zone. I've also tried to learn subharmonics and hit a G sharp 1, but it's very inconsistent. That'd be amazing, huh? Whoa. Sandrix, hi. Nice to have you here. I don't recognize but it's nice to have you join us. This is your first time? Am I belting if I hit a B4 in chest voice? Yes, you are. You're actually pulling the chest voice. It may not even be a belt. It might just be a pure pulled chest. Ink King says, how do you know where the first bridge is at your voice? Yours, Ink, is E, F sharp, above middle C, because you're a tenor. Waffles for days. How do you get more comfortable singing above B4? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And so I would not encourage a singer to do that unless they're like a counter tenor. And I've never actually taught a counter tenor. I've got a couple guys that maybe could become close to that. But so I do exercise them up to like the E5, sometimes F5, maybe even F sharp 5. I took one up to G5. I'll exercise them, but I don't encourage them to sing up there. I know I can sing up to around F5, but since I'm not used to singing above the B4, I find it hard to sing higher than that in a song. Yeah, and I don't know very many songs for men, Waffles for Days, that take you up there regularly. Back to One, is that the name of that? By, oh heck, I just forgot his name. He goes, it's really cool. I suppose like Michael did that once in a while. He went way up there, Michael Jackson. I know there are people who do that. So in terms of encouraging them to get comfortable singing above the B4, you do have to, so Waffles for Days, you do have to do your exercises above the B4. So if you're going to be singing up there, you've got to at least get, let's just say you're gonna end up on the F sharp 5 or the G5 or maybe the A flat 5. If you're going to sing up there, then you need to protect that by vocalizing in your exercises at least a whole step above that. Okay, So that's how you get more comfortable singing above the B4. If that's the highest you're gonna sing, then you want to make sure you're at least at the C sharp 5, C sharp 5. So you've got to exercise at least a whole step above it. And if you can get a step and a half, even better. That way you're going to build confidence into your voice. Emmanuel Zekic. Hi, Emmanuel. Sanderx says, when I sing softly, I can't hit high notes. When I sing softly, I can't hit high notes. How old are you, Sanderx? Actually, the reason why I ask that is because teenage boys have a really hard time doing that. Only if I use falsetto, but not chest. Yeah, because you haven't found your mix yet, Sanderix. The mix will allow you to do that. And so if I said, no, 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 sorry. Like I said, I'm not in total health. No, 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 no. It's my mix. No. Because I'm not leaning on the chord. I'm not leaning on the vocal cord. I'm leaning into more of the resonance, overlapping resonances. And it's a different feel. And so you got to work that mix, and that mix will enable you to do that. Ink says, since I can't get the dopey sound above F4, should I practice taking the dopey sound only to E4? You can. It's not going to, you want to get past the E4, right? So you've got to get that dopey sound. So if you can't get it on E, do it on goo. Goo, 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 goo. And if you can't get the dopey sound, it's because the larynx is coming up. It's kind of like catch-22, isn't it? You might want to try this. Wee, 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 wee. So do it on wee. Wee. Go dopey. Wee, 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 wee. And get back in the chest on the way down. Wee, 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 wee. Wee, 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 wee. Another possibility. Let me see. I can't do tongue trill. Ivan, I know that's a frustration. It's a frustration for me because I've got some really great singers, and some of the things that would help them the most would be a tongue trill. I can't do it. I don't know what to tell you. I think it can be learned. I do. I think it can be learned, but it's not a natural, easy thing to do, and I'm not very skilled at that yet. In fact, I haven't been successful. I haven't even tried to teach anybody a tongue trill. Because when I do the tongue trill, my throat always hurts, or the back of my neck will hurt. Should the tongue trills feel uncomfortable? No, they shouldn't feel uncomfortable. Ivan, how to find your first passaggio? So, Ivan, if you started down here and just said, you can start to feel it. That's the first bridge. If it happens lower than that, that's the first bridge. Emmanuel says, how can you help me, sir, for vowel modification in my contru? I have like Italian A, E, I, O, U. How to modify that? Yeah, so Emmanuel, go to my website, and on the far right-hand side, there is a little hourglass, and click on that. That's a search icon. Type in vowel hacks, and you can download a sheet of paper that will give you all of those changes. So, and it's not always A. It could be a or a or I said ah. So all of those things, o, oo, o to oo. E, you don't have anything to narrow to. E and oo are as narrow as they get. Now, sometimes on an E vowel on high notes, it helps to have a little bit of I. But all those things are on that form, and you'll want to have that to refer to as you're working through your songs. Lip bubbles. Should they hurt the back? Should they hurt? No. So if they're nice and if lip bubbles are nice and relaxed, so we want to have really floppy lips. If it's too tight, it could be, that's not the idea behind it. We want to be completely relaxed. So you find your jawline, lift up, so that you lift the cheeks up, and you have really slow, floppy lips. By the way, it doesn't hurt, especially if you can go hootie. But if you pinch it, raise the larynx, you can still raise the larynx, or you can pinch it. You can choke yourself with that too. So you want to do it kind of dopey. So if you say, that's where you want to do the bubble lips. But if you're doing them like, it's probably gonna hurt. Hi, Rachel. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad. Nice to see you. Rachel's from the UK. Ivan says, how high can you go and mix? Well, this opens up kind of a debate. Some people say mixes everywhere or should be everywhere. But once you get up to head voice for the men, for the ladies, once you hit like the G5, there's very little. You might be mixing the bridge below it with the resonances or the overtones, the bridge above it. Those might be the mixes, but they might be one heady mix, one head overtone mixed with a lower head overtone. So in that, if you're taking that perspective, then mixes everywhere until you get the extreme upper, to your upper, then it's pretty much just a head. And if you are, there's an adjacent bridge that starts to come in, some of the overtones and resonances, but it's a head mix. It's a mix of the adjacent head overtones. So, in that case, it probably should be a mix everywhere. And, but, for us, for our purposes, really, to really get our heads around, to get a handle on the mix, it's kind of ideal just to deal with like the E, F sharp for the guys, or the A, B flat, B, C, C sharp 5 for the ladies, because you can really, that's really where the action is. If you can't do those, the upper bridges aren't going to work anyway. So really, it's great to stay focused on that first bridge and really mastering that first bridge, because the second comes in quickly and the third and so forth. And so if my, once I get up in my third bridge, which is the E, F area, it's just I have to really, relax, and it's just a head mix, pretty much a head mix. Thank you, you guys. So we've gone an hour, and but what a bunch of great comments today. I hope this has been helpful. It's different ways to help all of our voices, ladies and gentlemen, and it's so fantastic to know that it's possible. It's possible for us to do these things, and that's what the word I'm getting out. Also, just a reminder, just if you're interested in that vibrato, want to either improve the vibrato you have, maybe it's out of control, maybe it's too fast or too slow, or it's unpredictable, or you don't have vibrato at all, and you're looking to develop it, this next week I'm going to be sharing some pretty focused videos on vibrato, and then I'm going to open it for I'm going to be offering a course on vibrato, and that'll probably be on February 1st, or the first week of February. So stay tuned, keep your eye out for it, and I'll be mentioning it again. Thank you for joining me today. It's been awesome. If you don't know your vocal type, be sure to go to the description below and download the PDF. It's got links to the vocal type test, to the vocal type videos, to free exercises for your vocal type, because that will also help you work in that exercises for the bridge to help connect the bottom to the top. Many of the exercises we did today here are in those exercises for the bridge. We're helping teen boys get through the bridge. We're helping adult men and women. We're helping everybody get through that bridge area, particularly that first bridge, so we connect to the bottom to the top and unify our voices so we can do whatever we want to do. Thanks, everybody. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power, and vibrato, by the way. Thanks. See you next time. Take care.